Hey guys, Brian Fisher with Edge Fitness, and coming to you from a little different environment here in Iowa. Right now, we are having a wonderful snowstorm. That's why we live in Iowa, because we love it so much. Most people disagree with that statement as well. But this month is American Heart Month here in February, and we're kind of kicking it off with just a small series on some different ways to apply our four principles, our four pillars: movement, nutrition, recovery, and mindset towards just being heart healthy and cardiovascular disease, trying to prevent, recover from all those different things that go into having that health focus in your lifestyle, from hopefully before an event, during to after. Now, that being said, we are health professionals, not medical professionals. So you need to check with your doctor, work with your cardiac rehab team. That is one of the things that you can best do to help you to recover from. So we're talking about recovery today. So recovering from a cardiovascular disease episode, particularly like a heart attack, stroke, you want to work with your cardiac rehab team. Those are the people to best help you in that situation. Focus with them, work with others like myself or any other doctors or anyone else that you might need to or want to bring into your team to help you with making your changes, because lifestyle changes are a big key to what you're going to be doing, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally, socially, environmentally, spiritually, all the things that go into it after something like that happens, either for you or a loved one. Maybe someone you know had a cardiovascular disease episode, and you're like, whoa, that happened to them, that can happen to me. What can I do in the aftermath of that? Or if you've gone through it yourself, especially looking at it from that perspective. Recovery is very key and important. And part of that is also knowing the warning signs, because once you have had a heart attack or cardiovascular disease event, you are more likely to have it again. So knowing those warning signs of having pain in the chest, okay, having radiating pain down the arm, neck, back, shoulders, jaw, having unexpected dizziness, nauseousness, lightheadedness, any of those kind of symptoms where, hey, this could be something more serious. I need to pay attention to this. This kind of feels like what I was having before. So if you're unnecessarily short of breath, just having a hard time maybe just sitting there, laying down, barely any activity, and you're very short of breath, those are some key signs that you want to really not hesitate with if you have had one. So part of that recovery is knowing the signs, knowing those symptoms, and what to look for and how to act quickly with that. Okay, if you're really looking at stroke symptoms, making sure that you're looking at slurred speech, facial expressions, inability to respond, move limbs, different things like that, especially on one side of the body, calling 911, being fast. Take a good CPR, AED, first aid course. They cover a lot of some of those basics as well. So being prepared if you are someone who's had it yourself, or maybe you have a loved one, or you just want to be there to help someone, anyone. Those are great things to do, whether it's required by your work or your job or anything like that. It's just to be prepared, to be able to be a good neighbor, to love someone that might be in that situation where you never know when you can help. So being able to take part in the cardiac rehab program, making sure that you know those warning signs, following your medication plan. I'm not going to touch on this one too much because, again, I'm going to try and stay in my lane as a health person, but talk with your doctor on that. There's a lot of things that go on. Talk to your doctors, your pharmacists, anybody that can help you with that from that medical perspective, and say, what are the things that I absolutely need to be taking? What are my alternatives right now from making the lifestyle changes? I'm a big believer in food is medicine, movement is medicine. So talk to your doctor, talk to pharmacists about possible side effects, drug interactions, supplement interactions, anything like that. Know everything. You are the CEO of your body. So you need to really know what's going on. Don't just take what they tell you, say, yeah, you need to be on this and this and this and this, and you just blindly accept it. Talk to them about it. Ask those questions. Write them down when you go in and talk to your doctors. And that communicating with your cardiac rehab team is so important, to say, why am I taking this? Why do I need this dose? How long do I have to take this for? What are some other alternatives? Because of, what are the side effects? You want to know what those are, because people can really change quite a bit after a heart attack. Some people physically change. They have to change their whole lifestyle for the better, and that's a big drastic change. And sometimes they can go too far, not far enough. That affects you and your loved ones. So that's a big part of the recovery. The mindset can really change. Some people say personalities change after having a heart attack. People are under a pretty big amount of stress even after, because it's like that can shatter a lot of beliefs of, hey, I'm Mr. and Mrs. Bulletproof. That'll never happen to me, anything like that. Or I've never been able to make these changes before. How is this heart attack going to change anything? Or this stroke or whatever it was, how is that going to change anything? How can I now make these changes when I've always failed at these things? That mindset is so key to be able to start chipping away at and making those changes, and just starting small with those lifestyle changes, kind of focusing on that. When you look at those lifestyle changes, sometimes that cardiac rehab program can be such a key thing, because you get the support, you get the instruction, you get help right along with that. Working with someone when appropriate, talking with your doctor when it's safe to begin an exercise program, where to start, how frequently, how hard should I go. Those are things to work with a doctor, and then with someone like myself or us here at Edge Fitness to help you into that path. If you're looking preventatively, maybe you just had a friend or a loved one go through this and you're like, whoa, what can I do? Am I doing my best to prevent this with my movement, nutrition, recovery mindset? How can I kind of, we talk about prehab and rehab. Prehab being things you do before to prevent an injury. Rehab being something you do after. So kind of pre-recovery, if you want to use that word, for trying to prevent a heart attack or some cardiovascular disease, to mitigate your risk factors. If you don't exercise, you need to exercise. If you have high body fat, then that's something you want to try to bring down, because those are risk factors for having a cardiovascular disease episode. So being able to mitigate those risks are another key thing of lifestyle changes you can make prior to. Even if you might only be in your 20s or 30s or 40s like I am, but if you're not living the healthiest lifestyle that you can, that's not going to help you down the road when you might be at a greater risk. So take a look, what can you do now to help you make those lifestyle changes, as well as someone who's in that position of being after at whatever age, because this stuff happens to young people and old people. Yes, there's that genetic component as well. We're not trying to dismiss that or not acknowledge that, but still making lifestyle changes. If you just say, oh, it's in my genes, well, it may be, absolutely. And you have to acknowledge that, and you have to do your things that you need to do, working with your medical team for that. But there are lifestyle changes that you can make to not make you more likely to have it. So if you're already at a risk factor genetically, don't increase those risk factors by being sedentary, by having higher body fat than what is healthy for where you're at. Taking a look at those things, those lifestyle changes and the mindset changes, those so greatly affect how you're going to recover as well as prevent. So keep that in mind. But just trying to, all the things that we like to talk about can be applied here. When you take small actionable steps, okay? Small habits lead to big change. You are what you repeat. So if you can repeat those small habits, that's what leads them to change. And if they're in the positive direction of making good change, having better movement, having better nutrition, having better recovery, when you are trying to recover, acutely, right? You have to look at what you're doing. Start off slow with your activity. Right? I'm about ready to go out and start clearing some snow here when I'm done talking to you guys. Well, if you're in that situation, you just had something like that, having somebody else maybe do it, as hard as that can be to swallow, to say, not the best thing for me to be doing right now. Let me see if there's a friend, neighbor, loved one that could help out with this, right? Take a look and see, all right, I'm going to do just a little bit, kind of ease into it, or this isn't the right time, so I'll save it for what I can do tomorrow, hopefully when the weather's nicer, and get some of that walking that we talked about in an earlier post this week. What can you do with your nutrition to help you recover from that? Making those positive nutritional changes. We talked about some of those earlier this week in a post as well. So check that out on our Edge Fit News blog and see what can you do out of there to help you make better nutritional choices. Okay, making sure you're prioritizing your sleep. Getting good sleep helps you to recover, helps your body to heal and recover. Making sure that you're not smoking, not drinking too much, looking at lowering your blood pressure, lowering your cholesterol, bad cholesterol down, good cholesterol up. Okay, when appropriate, resistance training, good diet changes, all that stuff is going to be awesome for you guys with making those changes. Stress management, that really helps you to recover because you got to keep the stress down, and well, it's kind of a stressful time. And physical activity is stressful. Emotional states are stressful. Okay, social environments can be stressful. Look at all those things that can go into your recovery. There's so much that you can do, but following some of those basics that we want to hit on here of, knowing those warning signs, following your medication plan appropriately to the kind of positive lifestyle change that you want to make. Talk with your doctor, but talk with them. Don't just let them tell you everything to do. Yes, they are doctors, but they're there to talk with you. They are your doctors. Okay? They're not dictators, they're doctors. So talk with them, ask them questions. That's the biggest thing I'll say there on the how and the why and everything for your medication. Sometimes they're just going off on the assumption that this guy, this gal, they're not going to do anything nutrition and exercise wise, and I don't really know what to tell them anyways, so hopefully they don't ask, so I'll just give them pills instead. Not, it's an overgeneralization, so please don't take that too personally. If you are a doctor or you're working with a doctor, there's great ones out there as well, but talk with them. Okay, so know the signs and symptoms, follow your medication plan, talking with your doctors, communicating with them, being active in that process. Okay, making those lifestyle changes that we're going to just keep harping on, because that's, I think, one of the biggest things that you can do to help you recover from an episode if you've had one, and to prevent one from happening and to prevent another one from happening. That's a big part of the recovery process here. Take part in your cardiac rehab program. Make sure you're doing that. That can be a great resource, again, to give you the support and instruction and guidance that you need to help you along, okay, to come alongside you where you are and take those next steps. Until then, you're ready to get back into, hey, this has been a great program. What can I do next? Hey, you need to keep up with your exercise. You're ready for some higher intensity stuff relative and appropriate to where you're at. Okay, again, talking with your cardiac rehab team and program there to transition into normal or whatever that next activity level is for you, or someone like me can come alongside and then start to take those next steps as well. All right, so hopefully this is helpful for you guys. If it is, don't forget to subscribe and share so you and your family and friends can follow along on these great tips and resources we try to share to help you out to recover and have a better movement, nutrition, recovery mindset after whatever you've had or whatever you want to try and prevent. So follow along, stay with it. Have a great rest of your day, guys. If you get to go out and shovel and blow snow like I get to, enjoy it, but take your time, be smart. We'll see you guys next time.